My father was a naval officer, straight out of the Naval Academy, 20-year career man. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. When I was 8, they divorced. My father did end up remarrying my mother's best friend. Unfortunately, 6 years after the divorce, my mother succumbed to her depression and her alcoholism, and she did take her own life. She committed suicide when I was 14. We got the doorway right here. This tarp folds down, so it's, you know, get my little privacy. I have, this is a hunting camera. It's used for hunters. It's actually motion. Just a little security measure. You know, have it strapped right there. If anybody comes in, it's gonna snap a picture of them. There's not much to the actual structure. All it is a wooden frame made out of trees and some tarps to keep the rain out. And this is where I sleep. This is a big 2-person military hammock, and it's just connected right to the frame on either side. It's plenty big. I use, you know, multiple sleeping bags. Staying off the ground in the hammock is a big thing about keeping warm. A lot of cold comes up from the ground, so if you're off the ground, you're gonna be that much warmer. This one right here in particular is a big, this one's like a heavy duty one that's rated for -10 degrees. It's got a hood that goes over your head. I've been in homeless shelters with beds less comfortable than this right here. This right here is a second hammock actually, and I use it for clothing storage because it's waterproof and big and it holds a lot of clothes. Anything real important that holds any value at all, I keep locked up in heavy duty lock boxes like this. They got padlocks that lock right to them. This is another big one down here. It's got a lot of clothes in it. This one's got all my footwear in it, so I like to keep it locked because that's really valuable to me. Obviously, having good footwear out in the wilderness is very key. I don't use any heat source. I don't use fire, I don't use heaters. I use my body heat and that's it. There's no sugarcoating it. I did become homeless because of drugs. I own that. It's a part of my story. It's in my past. I'm dealing with it. I take responsibility for it. I do have 2 years clean, but when I was addicted to heroin, and I was addicted to it hard. 4 years, every day of my life, lost everything I had, lost every penny I ever made on this drug. This is what I used to cook. It's just a basic fire tin with a little grill that goes over it. You know, I collect firewood from the trees, branches falling down. Always got firewood hanging around. Cardboard to start the fires, always keep my cardboard to burn. This is food storage. I like to keep food storage away from where I live just because of the mice, the raccoons. We get skunks, snakes. This is the woods, we get animals. There's hunger, and there's being cold, there's being wet, there's being too hot. All those things are bad, and they're uncomfortable, but they're manageable. The one big thing that's holding me back is not having my identification and not having a way to get my identification. Those IDs, you can't do anything without an ID. The job, you can't get into a shelter, you can't get on food stamps, you can't reclaim your benefits online, you can't do anything without an ID. You can't. The last time that I used heroin, I overdosed and I woke up in an ambulance, and the paramedics had tears in their eyes because they had to resuscitate me and they didn't think that I was coming back. And that was the last time I used, and that's what keeps me from going back, is the fact that I literally died. My heart stopped, I wasn't breathing, and I had to get brought back through medical intervention. And every time I get a little craving, a little urge to use, I just tell myself, if I use it one more time, I'm dead. That's it, I'm dead. I had overdosed before in the past. I had a blood infection where I went into full septic shock from intravenous. Nothing was enough to make me stop. But this last time was enough, because I was gone. I'm always gonna be an addict, whether I'm in recovery or not. I'm still gonna be an addict. That's not gonna go away. So there's always going to be triggers that are going to make me crave using again. And one of those triggers is obviously money and having expendable income. And while I don't use that as an excuse not to work, I have worked since then. I've held jobs successfully. I never did relapse with the expendable income, but just having that money in my pocket, it was triggering. It was. There's no way around it. I'll wake up and I'll go down and I'll collect shopping carts to get you know, like $1 for coffee. And then I'll continue doing that till I get enough to eat. Basically, every day is, the main goal of the day is get to a point where I can feed myself for that day. And then after that, the rest of the day is mine to do what I want. Leisure, you know, I watch movies like normal people, watch TV shows, you know, go on hikes, hang out, just every normal day stuff. We're blessed enough to have a river. If I just need to clean dishes with it, if I need to cook with it, if I need to just wash up real quick or maybe wash like a shirt or something like that, that's enough. It's enough to do the essentials. This isn't how I want to spend the rest of my life. I do want to be housed. I have been housed. I've spent time in homeless shelters. I've functioned well, gotten along with everybody. I do well in housing. It's just the ID. It's a roadblock. I can't do anything without ID. I can't do anything.
When you have a shelter that only can hold 40 people and people are excited to be number 20 on the waiting list, that's bad. We're in October now, and it's gonna get cold. It was chilly this morning. And just think that they're out here sleeping under a tent or in a sleeping bag in the middle of nowhere. And they have no way of getting help. God forbid something goes wrong, we're never gonna find them out here.